Get the football.
Run your feet.
Hey, you know.
Finish.
The Gameday Broadcast Network is proud to present Football Media Day. Football Media Day is brought to you by Lark Brewing Company and Restaurant, Loudoun's #1 destination for great food and great times. And by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. When you need to get back in the game or the game of life, call Robin O'Connor and Integrated Sports Medicine today.
Hundreds of high school athletes have trusted Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy to help them get back on the field. Don't let that injury go untreated. Call Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy today at 703-724-7474 or visit us online at integratedsportspt.com. It's where athletes go to get back in the game.
Thank you guys very much at Gameday for having me. My name is Bobby Evanson Jr. and I'm the head football coach at Lightridge. This is year number 5 for our program, and I've been the head coach since we opened in 2020. Last season, we are coming off of our first ever playoff appearance. We went 6-4 in the regular season, and we had a pretty challenging schedule. We were really pleased with how our players handled everything. We're built a little bit differently, so it was it lended itself to a lot of really close games for us. In week 2, we lost by 2. Week 3, we won by 2. Week 4, we lost by 3 in triple overtime. And in week 5, we had to come back from being down 29-7 and win that game by 1. And in our 3 district games, in one of them, in our 3 district wins, I should say, the first one we were up by 1 at half. The second one we were down by 13 at the end of 1. And then in the other district win, we were it was a 14-7 game at the end of 3. So we threw the ball a lot, and this year we're looking to be a little bit different. We'd like to run the ball a little bit more. Last year we ended up dropping back to throw 416 times in 11 games, which is not exactly what we want, but our kids did a really, really good job with it. For our off season, I think that our kids have done a really, really good job. They've bought into the weight room. They've bought into the speed training. They've done a great job. It's taken a lot, and our administration has been phenomenal. Our principals, Dr. Ryan Hitchman, he's great. Our athletic administration, Jason Treon and Brian Schmidt, they're awesome. They've been really, really helpful with getting us what we need and making sure that we're not wanting for anything. And we've got a good amount of coaches in the building too. So with having about 5 coaches in the building, thankfully, we have a really big weight room presence with coaches, which is phenomenal. So that gets us really, really good attendance with the kids. Numbers have gone up. Coach Mike Wren, he does our strength and conditioning. He's been great, and that's a huge reason why our numbers have gone up so much. Also in the off season, we have a group of 5 kids who are on our leadership council right now. The original 3 are Wade Lechner, Al Honesty, and Xavier Dillard, and they've really kind of rallied the troops, and they've made sure that they all understand the importance of being here and building that camaraderie as a team that you really, really need. So they've done great. Toby Aquiles, a senior lineman, and James Pierce, another senior lineman. They've been recent additions, but all these kids have done a phenomenal job in the off season. And obviously, it starts with administration and getting help from coaches. But those 5 kids have really done a great job all year long, and they're the reason why there's so much optimism. They're a big part of that reason, I should say. Our training camp has gone really well so far. It's been short. It's been challenging. I know some of the other coaches have mentioned that as well. I think a lot of that is just the way that the calendar falls, which is just kind of beyond our control. So we're really low on 2-a-days this year. Didn't have some luck with heat a couple times. Didn't have some luck with weather a couple times. So one of the things that we've talked to our players about is that the challenges, they create excuses if you want them, but thankfully our kids don't really seem to want those. So we've been very, very pleased with how they've responded for all that they've had to deal with. It's led to some challenging days, but we're just coming off of our first scrimmage, and our players performed pretty well and handled everything that was thrown at them pretty well. So all in all, I think everything considered, we're very pleased with how training camp has gone. In terms of players who are returning, I would say Al Honesty returns a lot of production for us on offense from the receiver position. We've got 3 returning linemen up front. We have Toby Akile, we have James Pierce, and we have Zach Gibson. Those are all returning starters. All have done a great job for us so far on defense. Xavier Dillard really is the anchor of the defense. He's moving a little bit closer to the ball for us this year, but he's done a great job. He can really get everything set up. He's like having another coordinator out there. So that's makes life a little bit easier on our defensive coordinator, Richard Derrickson, who does a heck of a job. We're a little bit young in the secondary, or I should say a little bit inexperienced in the secondary, a little bit more so than we have been, but they've answered really, really well. They've competed every single day, which is all that we could ask from them. We want to have as many of the upperclassmen as we can on the field. One of the, someone else mentioned that you lose a game for every sophomore. It's kind of an adage in coaching. So, but we do have a couple of those, and we're really excited about how they've done so far. Center Aiden Anderson, he's been working with that top group, and he's really done a great job. Carson Rui has been another sophomore. He's working in the box on defense, and these are guys who have really maturity beyond their years, and they've done a great job in the offseason. They've done a great job of working with coaches and just competing every single day like we've asked them to. In terms of expectations for our season, we don't really talk a whole lot about how many games we want to win or anything like that, but for us it really all starts with good people. We want our kids to be good people in the classroom. We want them to be good people in the hallways, and that's really kind of our starting point. It is kind of a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. And thankfully we have really, really good kids. So these really, really good kids, they really like to be coached. They like being around each other. They seem to like being around us coaches for the most part. They might not like us every day, but for the most part, they do enjoy being around us, and they really let you coach them. They let you maximize them, which is what we always talk about. We just talk about our goal being to maximize. If we can get you as close to your ceiling as possible, then we think that we've done a good job, and we think that you've probably done a pretty good job of working hard and controlling what you can control as well. You guys have any questions?
In 5 years, which seems like a new school, but as far as the kids go, this is the only school they've known. Have you developed any particular rivalries with other schools that the kids are looking forward to?
I think that there definitely lends themselves to be some natural rivalries. You can throw a baseball from our campus to John Champ and you can almost hit it. So because of that, that's a game that our kids are going to circle every year, and last year that was just a phenomenal high school football game. It was at our place. We came up just a little bit short. Credit to their coaching staff. They do a good job, and their kids play really hard. We lost by 2. We probably had pretty much everyone in Aldie was at that game, and it was pretty awesome. Freedom's not far down the road, so that tends to be a game that gets our kids a little jazzed up as well. And then you could also say Independence, because they opened just a year before us. So you got the 2 new schools, that could be a rivalry. You've got the 2 schools that, are basically backed up into each other, and that's another one. So there's definitely a good couple games that our kids can circle and say that this is a big one for them.
Have you had a bunch of players who have been able to play at the next level, and do you have a group right now that is looking forward to continuing their football careers?
I think this year we probably have the most players that we've had in a senior class. And our senior classes have been unusually small. Obviously the first year we don't have one. The second year we have 6 seniors. But even the last 2 years, we've never had more than 12 seniors in a class, which obviously is something that we're trying to grow, and we're hoping for more. But this year, and still a somewhat small senior class, we have more guys this year who I think could go on and play at the next level than we ever have previously. We've had a couple. Anthony Donko's at Penn State. We've had Connor Moisiitis from last year. He's off. He's at Shenandoah now. So we have not had a really, really high number of players that have gone on to play other places, but there have been more of those conversations that our coaching staff has had this year with those kids than ever before, which makes me excited because I want kids to go on and play college football. I think it's an awesome experience. I think it can prepare them for the rest of their lives, and I think it's obviously really, really fun just to go play college football. But Al Honesty and Xavier Dillard are both committed to William & Mary right now. We've got 2 other players who I think can play at a very, very high level in college, and then we've got several who were interested in furthering their careers, knowing that they might be going that Division III route, which obviously there's certainly very good football to be played at that level as well.
Coach, looking ahead here with regard to where you're at today versus where you were when you started, culture-wise, it takes time to get things put in place, but do you feel good about where you are and all the off-season? You talked about how coachable your kids are. There's a tradition starting of really successful athletics at Lightridge. Where are you at with your vision for what you want with the program?
Well, I think to talk about that, I think I have to talk about how lucky I am. I think I have to talk about how lucky I am to be working with these players and with these families. Because like I said, these players want to be coached. They come from very, very well-to-do families. They come from very hard-working families. So that does take luck. I work with great men. I work with great assistant coaches. I work with great administrators, teachers, great men and women. And it really does take a village when you're talking about building a football program from scratch. I was able to be a part of that as an assistant at Riverside, but now doing it as the head coach, it's been very rewarding, and I've been lucky. I really have been, and a lot of that luck also has to come back to where the original group of players, where they came from. They came from Champ, which is a good program. It was coached by Jason Dawson. He was the head coach, who is phenomenal, and I'd be lying if I were to say that I wasn't the beneficiary of some of that. And then, of course, already having relationships with those players, being that was the previous spot that I coached when I got the Lightridge job, that really lended itself to a fairly smooth transition for those players and for them to kind of have an understanding of expectations the second that they walked into the door. And I think that when you get that from day one, you're really, really ahead of the curve. And as a result of that, they laid a really, really good foundation for the classes to come, and that's been kind of a snowball effect, which has been great. I was very, very lucky with the head coach, or I should say with the assistant coaches, that I've been lucky enough to get to work with us here at Lightridge. Not many places have 5 coaches in the building, and that's what I have. And I could talk about how great all the assistant coaches are, but I mean, Joey Ray, Mike Wren, and Richard Derrickson, every single day they come in and they take 2 to 3 things off my plate. And when you've got 3 assistants like that in the building that every single day take things off of your plate, when you're building a program as a first-time head coach, I mean, that's a level of luck that you just can't ask for. So a lot of the success that we've had, and maybe some people think that we've overachieved in certain ways, I think that we've done a good job. But again, I'd be lying if I were to say that some of it in luck and just getting good people around you and coaching good kids.
Coach, jumping up to 5A last year, it's a big jump from 4A to 5A, no doubt about it. Not to diminish the lower levels, but it's just a much higher competitive level within the Potomac district. At least in my experience, it has been. Your thoughts on year 2 of that for your guys and looking into the Potomac district schedule?
The Potomac district schedule for us is always going to be kind of a gauntlet. I mean, like I said, last year we were 3-2 in the district. The 2 losses to Briarwoods and Stonebridge, they were the 2 region finalists. Our 2 other regular season losses were to the 4A region finalists, Tuscarora and John Champ. But in just speaking of our district, we're outsized every single game. And that was very, very apparent as we started our district schedule last year. Going into the second half of our season, which was all district, by the second half of the year, we averaged 178 pounds on the offensive line. That was average. And that is why we had to drop back and throw the ball 416 times last year. We just weren't running anybody over. And when you have that week in and week out, it can really be kind of a war of attrition. It can really be very, very challenging. We couldn't have asked more of our kids with how they stood up to that challenge. But these were just games that we knew every single one was going to be a 4-quarter dogfight. Like I said, the 3 wins. One of them was a 1-point game at half. One of them, we were down 13 at the end of the first quarter, and the other one was a 14-7 game, and they had the ball to start the 4th. So, for us, it's a battle every week. And like I said, I think we're built a little bit better for that this year maybe. But it was definitely eye-opening to our kids. But I think us having that schedule last year to begin the season really, really did help us with having great competition in Sharando and John Champ and Tuscarora and Langley and all those close games. So I think we were pretty well tested. The schedule worked itself out, and it really did prepare our kids, I think, as much as it possibly could.
Final question for you, just if you take a quick snapshot, look at week one and your opponent, give us a breakdown of what you've seen so far.
So our week one opponent this year is Freedom in South Riding, which is a neighborhood game. So our kids are always really excited for that. I know that they have a new coaching staff coming in, so they're a relative unknown for us right now. Some of our kids know some of their kids, and rumors are coming out. Hey, they might do this, they might do that. Well, to us, until we see it on film, rumors are rumors, and that doesn't really mean a whole lot for us. But it certainly means something to try to start out the season strong. We've never lost a first game of the season, actually, in all of our years, and obviously we're hoping that trend continues. But we know that Freedom coming out game one with a new coaching staff against our kids, we know that's something that they're not going to take lightly, and we know that they're going to be pretty jazzed up for that. So for us, the preparation doesn't change, the standard doesn't change, the mission doesn't change. We go out and we prepare for everybody really pretty much just the same way. We tell our kids we don't play to the level of the competition, and we don't play the score. For us, the scoreboard's really just lights and numbers. We need to do what we've been coached to do, the way we've been coached to do it, and when we're coached to do it. So if we follow that, then we're going to put ourselves in the best position to be successful in week one and then moving forward. So that's kind of our goal.
Coach, it's great to have you here. Wish you the best of luck here for Lightridge in the season, and certainly we'll be following you along the way.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
The Gameday Broadcast Network is proud to present Football Media Day. Football Media Day is brought to you by Lark Brewing Company and Restaurant, Loudoun's #1 destination for great food and great times. And by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. When you need to get back in the game or the game of life, call Robin O'Connor and Integrated Sports Medicine today.
Hundreds of high school athletes have trusted Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy to help them get back on the field. Don't let that injury go untreated. Call Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy today at 703-724-7474 or visit us online at integratedsportspt.com. It's where athletes go to get back in the game.